The seventh lecture is the X factor concept. Because I believe that alcoholism is a physical addiction, I have come to expect that sometime we will come to know what is involved in the body of the addicted person. There are some theories about the possible causes, but no common or universal agreement on one theory. Some say that it is the nature of the high produced by the drinking which leads one into the addiction. Others are investigating a second route of metabolizing the drug as a factor. As I await the finding of the experts, I have been willing to just speak about the unknown factor X. The comparison that can be made is to compare alcohol addiction with the disease of diabetes. There was a time in its developing history when its cause was not known, but today we understand that it is a malfunctioning of the pancreas. So we have the formula sugar plus time plus what was an X factor, but is now understood, does equal diabetes. We know that some people use a lot of sugar and gain weight, but do not develop this disease. So likewise, you know that not every person who uses the drug alcohol does move into the addictive pattern of use and abuse. Therefore, we can conclude that it takes alcohol ingesting plus time plus the X factor to lead to alcoholism. Others of my diagram series give in more detail the progression into the illness. In the center of this diagram, you will observe an arrow. This is to represent a person who has the factor X. The individual starts to drink and begins to demonstrate the increased tolerance at an early sign, possible memory loss once or twice, becomes preoccupied with drinking times, may even become a little concerned about drinking, and still continues and then crosses the line into loss of control. Now once more I can explain that there are two totally different patterns of the alcohol addiction. The pattern which is most common in our country is the loss of control over the amount consumed once the person begins the first drink. We label this pattern Bender's spree drinker. This person can go for periods of time without drinking, and so can point a finger at the person he may see drinking every day. This is the second pattern of alcohol addiction. It may resemble the other drug addiction, for the pull of the addict is to get feeling comfortable by chemical use. The person may be doing some drinking around the clock, but is not getting drunk. There would be less of the social disorganization present in this person's life, but the expected prognosis of recovery, insanity, or death looms before this person as it does for the Bender user. Intervention is going to be needed to break the addictive pattern. You see there on the chart also a list to the left of the diagram that include emotional, social, cultural, and moral. These are factors in a person's life from every level or class of our society. Unfortunately, many people among us think that the alcoholic population is comprised only or mainly of Skid Row homeless persons. This particular Skid Row variety makes up 3% of the total number of alcoholics, and therefore the 97% is scattered through the upper, middle, and lower class. I have said many times that alcoholism is no respecter of class standing, of or intelligence or moral quality of life. Drinking appears to be extremely important in our culture. We had a movie in one treatment center in which one of the characters said something like, "I don't think that Bob can be trusted because he won't drink with us." Or in another segment, "Bill can sure drink like a man." My figure of a man allows me to project the great difference between the alcoholic and the non-alcoholic person. The system within the non-alcoholic is like a flexible rubber band. He can drink, and with 2 or 3 drinks gets the very pleasant feeling as the depressant effect of the drug works on his brain. He can, by choice, continue to drink to intoxication. This may be in our society referred to as having a good time. The overindulgence may come with a hangover price to pay. Interesting, though, this pattern can be repeated by choice throughout a lifetime like a flexible rubber band. However, when someone with the capacity to become addicted to alcohol starts to drink socially, very early he may experience that increased tolerance so that there is more of the drink required to get the pleasant effect. In a matter of years, few or many, he may again and again face the fact that he consumed more than he intended. The loss of control is in play whenever he chooses to begin drinking. As the disease progresses, the withdrawal symptoms come to add to the problems present. We are always safe in saying that no one ever set out in life to have something like this happen to them. And we find that the ratio of those who use and those who develop problems is 1 in 10. When we look at another part of my picture, I again deal with the non-alcoholic person and the alcoholic person dealing with this substance called willpower, and that willpower in the struggle to deal with the urge to drink more. Class standing and intelligence can play a major role in this area, for they are those who are of the higher class and standing, feel more intelligent, buy into the myth that willpower alone is the answer to controlled drinking. In the 2 comparative graphs, I diagram what the non-alcoholic deals with in the matter of willpower after taking a drink versus that urge that the alcoholic person is dealing with when they begin their use. Now one final look at what I explain as different routes people can take to this loss of control addiction. I picture persons A, B, and C. For each of the circles representing my people, I place scales for 3 factors. 1, the physical capacity at the first drink for addiction. 2, the level of emotional immaturity or instability. And 3, the social or cultural use that drinking plays in that person's life. Let me take them one at a time as I describe their move to addiction. In person A, I place a low scale for that given physical potential for addiction, but a very high scale for emotional immaturity and instability, and just a mid-range for family and friend use of beer, wine, or liquor. But it's always there in that family situation in moderation. This is the person who would not get into heavy use in her sphere of life, but would learn to find relief and comfort in the emotional level of life. Drinking often and heavily over a period of years to deal with these feelings and fears, the addiction is activated. When and if she comes to recovery, she will have two major problems to face: abstaining from drinking and treatment for mental health as well. This could result in cross-addiction to other drugs such as minor tranquilizers to help care and caution. So care and caution would be required. My person B is ranked with the mid-strength for a capacity before first drink for addiction, very low for emotional instability, in other words, mature and stable, but very high for the social drinking, which means that family and friends do drink often and with a high tolerance for getting drunk. Just by being an active participant in the social pattern of use, they ought to have planned for person B. The progression through the early symptoms can be masked for a long time. With the loss of control, then these differences, however, will arise, and the group will notice, and reproof and criticism will follow. Recovery for him will require moving away from that normal heavy drinking environment for, in some cases at least, until such time as they have gotten firm in understanding the loss of control, the addiction, and that this is a person who must remain a non-user in every situation, social using or not. Now, a brief look at person C. Here the rankings show a high capacity to become addicted to alcohol before taking that first drink, a middle level on the emotional factor, meaning that there is some immaturity present, and a low scale for the social drinking practice. This could be an environment in which there is total abstaining for maybe religious beliefs and practices. My person C could make it through high school free of any alcohol or drugs because of that home surrounding. But what happens to this person when he gets to a college or he volunteers for the military? With that high precondition for addiction, it may only take 1 or 2 semesters of heavy partying to rapidly move to loss of control problem drinking. The possibility of fast developing social problems involving the courts, the family, jobs, or finances could hasten a return to earlier abstaining practices. This could be listed as a high bottom recovery, which I mentioned in other of these teachings. I repeat again, no one sets out to be an alcoholic. They don't develop the disease because they are dumb, stupid, or immoral. As I said earlier, the disease is no respecter of a person's social standing, intelligence, religious faith, wealth, health, or any other factor. If you decide to drink beverage alcohol, do it heavily enough over a long enough period of time, and have the physical capacity for addiction to it, it will happen. Help and recovery is available. Thank you, Jesus. God bless.